What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Over here visiting some relatives, kicking it with the people. I haven't seen some of these people in a very, very long time, so it's pretty cool. And I actually got a nap, so y'all will be proud of me. But that's not necessarily what I wanted to talk to y'all about. And this is kind of off the cuff, but I was just kind of thinking about this. There are some people that always ask me why I'm always upgrading everything that I have. I don't drive old cars. I don't use old phones. As a matter of fact, all of the iPhones that I have and everybody that works for me, and wife, daughter, everybody is getting upgrades. Literally, the day that we could pre-order, apparently they're saying that it's taking a week to get here, but the day that we can pre-order, everything is, we getting rid of the old and we taking in the new. Now, it's a couple different reasons why we do this. A, we're incentivized to do so from a business perspective because, especially my business phones and the people that work for me, because I got to get rid of the money. So when it comes to computers, phones, and I use phones in a different way, right? A lot of people look at phones and they use them like just to scroll them down social media and all of that. No, my phones are my virtual assistants. It's my lifeblood. It's the way in which I manage my calendar. I shoot a lot of content on my phones. I use it to upload, communicate more effectively, so on and so forth. So I always want the best, right? And then when you take that into consideration, because a lot of people will say, well, it's no different than last year. Bullshit. Like if you look at the phones that we have now versus 2 years ago, I use my phones as hotspots a lot of times when I'm in dead areas, or I'm trying to live stream, or I'm trying to upload certain things. I travel a lot. The battery life is better. I have to make sure that I always have the best, because when I have the best, I can put out better products. And again, I'm incentivized to do so from a business perspective. Everything I do, I look at it business, not only from an efficiency, but I got to get rid of the money. So when you have to get rid of the money, it only makes sense for you to spend it on things that improve your efficiency, your life, add value to you, allow for you to be able to put out the best product. And then B, like for example, my computers, right? Having the best, biggest, fastest, I'll always probably get the best computer with the most storage, my MacBook Pros or whatever comes out new, the better version of what I already have, I'm going to get it for me, and I'm gonna get it for everybody that work for me, because I can write it off from a business perspective. Now, you don't just write stuff off from a business perspective just because you're getting rid of the money. You're making a strategic investment in your business for you to be more efficient and for you to put out a better product. So a lot of people will say, well, I can't do it, or I'm not gonna do it because it's just like last year's model and so on and so forth. Well, if you get rid of last year's model and you upgrade into the new model, you're automatically saving money, because the later or the more you hold on to last year's model, and I'm talking about from a business perspective, I'm not talking about just from a personal perspective, but the more you hold on to last year's model, the more devalued last year's model is as a result of you deciding when you want to get rid of it and get a new one. A lot of people don't get the new thing until they absolutely positively have to. And again, that's cool if you're looking at it from a business perspective. I don't give a piss about my personal car. You know what I'm saying? Like, my personal car is down there or whatever because I'm using it for personal things, but very rarely am I doing things personal. It's actually about to rain out here, but very rarely am I doing things personal, and more importantly, I'm doing things from a business perspective. So everything I do, and if you look at my own personal life, the money that I spend personally is very minimal, probably less than $1,000 a month for my personal expenses. It's not about stuff. And I get it if people say stuff like, well, I don't want to waste no money, or it's similar to last year's model. First of all, you know that ain't true. It ain't nowhere near similar to last year's model at all. But then at the same time, we got to make sure that we're working optimally. So in the same way that I wouldn't use the same computer, like for the next 10 years, you don't even realize how much you're missing with the experience, or how much greater the next model is or the next version is, until you get it. So again, I don't use anything old, and I make sure that I continue to upgrade and I continue to get the best model available, simply because it's efficient and it makes for a greater thing. I don't use the same cameras. Every year I upgrade my cameras. Hopefully every interview, like I did the Brittany Renner interview, and I'm gonna actually give you guys some insight on my thoughts or my takeaways after interviewing her. Put her on a flight this morning. She should be back wherever it is that she is. But every interview should be better, right? I learned from the last thing so that I can create a better product. So when I talk to Charleston White, it's going to be a much, much deeper, better audio, right? I spent a lot of money on upgrades because I learned what I didn't have during a Charleston White interview, right? And so I'm investing in a content creation space. A lot of y'all are familiar with that in the Patreon. So everybody in the Patreon, shout out to my Patreon members. You actually gonna get the Brittany Renner interview hopefully tonight, latest tomorrow, because I got to go through and I got to edit that thing and make sure that it's absolutely positively dope, because I want to get all of the best cuts, all of the best angles. I want to make sure that the majority of the interview is on her. And it's it's just that, right? It's like learning all of the different things so that I can then set the expectation for my recently hired editor to be able to do something greater or even better. And I invest in people. I want the best people, which means that if somebody ever leaves my company or somebody go out and do their own thing, I'm always looking for the best version or the better version or the upgrade from them. And it has nothing to do with them, but it's just, how I go about approaching business in a general sense is that it's always upgrades. It's always a better version. I actually was looking at the iPhone 14, and of course, I'm only getting pros. You know what I'm saying? So everybody in my family, my daughter, my chick, me, my employees, we all getting pros, and I ordered a lot of them. And again, they should all be delivered this upcoming Friday, so a week from the pre-order, and then we're going to get new Apple Watches when those become available for order, and we're going to get the Ultras and all of that, because it's not about just having the best, but it's being in a position to create the best product or utilize your resources to get the best out of whatever it is that you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? It's a mentality. So I operate out of abundance. I don't operate out of duress. And even when it comes to stuff, I don't even care about stuff anymore. But when I go and participate now, I'm always going to get the best available possible, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to halfway do nothing. I'm not just going to get something just to have it. If I'm going to do it, then I'm interested in getting the best available thing. Now, I'm not just going to get stuff just because it got a name on it, but I actually really love Apple's ecosystem. I like the dynamic island that they got going on there. I like that they always are giving an upgraded, better product. The only thing that I'm waiting on now, because I actually got upgraded everything. We even updated the AirPod. We're going to update the AirPod Pros. Not the Pros, the Pros instead of the Max, because I got the Max AirPods, the over-ear, but I use that when I'm editing in production, whereas the Pros, I heard they got a lot of upgrades and spatial audio and stuff like that. But stop cheaping out when it comes to the product that you're trying to put out. Now, that doesn't mean just run out, like if you're trying to create a YouTube channel or something like that, and you wait until you get all this equipment before you get started. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that as you continue to go into this world of whatever it is that you're doing, continue to reinvest in yourself and into the equipment and into the stuff that you're using so that you can create the better product. Well, at least that's what I do. And I wouldn't tell anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do. But again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We doing some dope things in there. We got the Patreon meetup next weekend, which is the only reason why I don't have somebody else flying in. But I got somebody else flying in the next weekend after that. And I'm going to stop announcing who I have. And I'm going to just start dropping the content when it's, when it's available. But make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you want to kick it with me personally, email me at AntonDaniels413@gmail.com, and we're going to get you set up and popping. We're going to get you set up with a Zoom call or a phone call. I feel so rested. I feel great. I'm in a great space from a creative perspective, right? But yeah, next video I'll probably give you guys some insight on what my thoughts are from the Brittany Renner interview and why I interviewed her in the first place, all right? So again, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Don't live in an echo chamber. Always look to grow. Don't look for happiness. Look for growth. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.